Posted in our AskReddit, what's the paranormal story you have? I farm in a rural town in the western US and our farm is a ways out of town, so naturally it's pretty eerie at night. We flood irrigate, so the water needs to be moved from field to field, and those water changes just come whenever the fields are finished. At each end of our farm there is a big row of trees that once again get kind of eerie at night. So my dad and I were driving down our farm road at around 3 a.m. We reached the row of trees, and as the headlights hit the trees I saw a strange figure. It looked to be the rough shape of a human, but not quite the same. Taller and more hunched over. Kind of like a 6 feet 3 inches old woman in a shawl. I only saw it for 2 maybe 3 seconds, but it was long enough to make my blood run cold. I was so freaked out, so I didn't say anything to my dad. About 30 seconds later my dad started driving faster and looked over at me and said, "I wasn't going to say anything, but did you happen to see a strange figure walk between the trees?" I nodded and we changed the water and went home. There has been a local legend about a creature that looks like what we saw that has been talked about since the 40s. It's supposed to be similar to a Native American skinwalker. And it would make sense to me. We have found Indian pottery and arrowheads all over our farm. Neither of us have seen it again, but it is still in the back of my mind when I drive to that corner of the farm. Commenter 2. Shortly after my grandmother passed, we visited her rebuilt cottage several states away. My newborn son was about 4 to 6 weeks old, and one night, when he wouldn't stop fussing, I took him outside for some fresh air. Unknowingly, the door locked behind us. It was 3 a.m., cold and remote, and I was locked out with a newborn. I tried everything, knocking, throwing pebbles at my husband's window, but nothing worked. Exhausted, I slumped against the door, ready to break down. Then, suddenly, I heard a click. The door, which I had tried countless times, simply unlocked. No one was there. Everyone inside was still asleep. Commenter 3. I have 2 brothers, one older by 2 years and one younger by 9 years. My younger brother was supposed to be a twin. Sadly, my mom lost her. My little brother as a baby and toddler was always staring at the ceiling laughing, and we always used to say, he must be playing with his sister. It stopped after that, but as he got older we noticed he did a lot of talking to himself. We figured it was an imaginary friend. So one night, it was just my dad, my little brother, about 5 at the time, and I still awake. It was pretty late for him to be up, like 9 p.m., and he was still running around full of energy. I basically said to my dad he's on his own getting him to sleep because I'm going to bed. So as I got to the top of the steps I felt frozen. Really the best way to explain it, and I listened to my dad trying to get my little brother downstairs. My dad is like, "Come on, insert name here, you have to go to bed, it's late." He kept saying, "No dad, I'm playing." So my dad gave up and said, "Okay fine, but you're going to be up here by yourself, I'm going to bed." And my little brother says loud and clear, "No dad, I'm not alone, never, I'm playing with my sister," to which my dad answered that I was in bed. He said, "No dad, my other sister, she's not ready to go to bed yet." Commenter 4. The student center in my university used to have a restaurant, cafeteria in its basement with 2 sets of stairs going back to the first floor. Stories said that it was haunted, but I always thought it was a joke. I liked to study down there in the evening because the food court was closed and the booths were empty, and that gave me a lot of space to spread out my books and notes and some peace and quiet. The layout was that one set of stairs was next to the booths, so sitting where I was I could see if anyone came or went. The other set of stairs were behind me down a hallway that had some storage closets and the restrooms. There was nothing else down that hall. So I was studying one day in the empty food court and I had to go pee. So I go down the hallway, into the bathroom, motion sensing lights turn on, I do my business, and start washing my hands when I hear a soft cough inside the restroom as if someone was trying to get my attention. I turn and realize the stalls are all open. I'm alone in this goddamn restroom. I briskly went to my booth and started packing my bags, and before I went up the stairs I looked around and sure enough, there was nobody there. I start making my way up the stairs when I heard the same cough right behind me. I've seen the movies, I did not turn around.